Hi, my name's Kerrigan, or also known as Cosmic Care Bear, and today I'm just going to be showing you how I transform a few areas in my valley. I'm going to be showing you how I transform this into this. And this area here into the Disneyland of my childhood. So this was my peaceful meadow with my Alice in Wonderland maze I made a few years ago. And then my plain and quite frankly boring plaza area. So first we'll be removing this entire maze, and I will be rebuilding it but even bigger on a floating island now that we have those available. I actually stopped playing for about a year and a half, and I came back and there was so much new stuff in the game. It is wonderful for decorators. As you can tell, I had to speed this up because this took quite some time having to individually remove each item. And ooh, I found some goodies! So I went and picked up that chest, cleaned up the area a little more, and now I'm just moving the houses over. I spent a little bit trying to figure out the placement of all the houses, and you'll see throughout the video I keep changing my mind about exactly where I want them. I wanted a little path between Mickey and Minnie's house, but the spacing just didn't end up working out, and I was very confused by Daisy's house. I literally thought that was a door. I absolutely hate it when I'm in the zone of decorating and accidentally exit out of the furniture catalog. I do this constantly, so you'll be seeing that throughout the video. It is completely accidental, just hitting the wrong button. And here you'll see me moving over all the little decorations. I couldn't decide where exactly I wanted them, so I kind of just threw them off to the side for the time being so that I didn't forget what kind of decorations I already had in my area. And it was time for the paths, but realized I had completely forgotten to actually make the paths. So I went and made them super quick. And at first I couldn't find them. I was like, weren't they at the top? No, they're at the very bottom. And then me being OCD, I had to make it an even number. So now it's just me struggling, trying to actually get the path to cooperate. I hate these little arrows. I be grabbing the wrong ones all the time. And here you'll see I'm indecisive about where I want the house again, but realized that I need my trees over here, so I have to work around the trees and figure out the placement with them. And here you'll see me just kind of tripping out about the trees. I was so confused, like, are there two different types of trees? Why are they coming out small? And then realized I just have to keep opening and closing them until I get the one that I want. Kind of forgot that that was a thing since I hadn't played in so long. But we got it. So if you can't already tell, I like a lot of foliage in all of my builds. Anywhere you go in the valley, there's going to be lots of trees, bushes, flowers, etc. I am a maximalist at heart, so everything I build in the valley definitely represents that. And here I was trying to make an archway of trees, like I used 2 trees for this. It wouldn't really fit anywhere except at the end, which ended up looking super cute, and I loved it after all. I was so excited here because I thought I got the tree I needed like right off the rip, which shape-wise, yes, realized it was the wrong color leaves. And I was trying to go for 3 different colored leaves in here, and I was kind of losing my mind trying to figure out which is which because I don't really make mental notes. I hated how the 2 looked together at the end, and I just wanted it to match to satisfy my OCD. So here I was kind of deciding if I did want to end up doing 3 colors for the trees. It took me quite some time to try to even get this like pure green tree over here, just for me to decide that I actually really did like the 3 colors, and I felt like those lighter greens kind of contrasted better with the red than the bright green did. Once again, me just absolutely losing my mind until I finally got the big tree. I was getting so angry that it was not giving me the big red trees, and I kept having to do it over and over and over again. And then that time I was like, oh, thank God. It knew I was getting mad. So here you'll find me desperately trying to find this Toontown fountain before I finally gave up and decided to just search it up, which I kind of forgot that you could do, and once I remembered that, I was like, oh, this saves so much time. So after I started putting all these decorations down, I really didn't like how close together all of these houses were, and I knew that I was just going to have to get rid of that little pathway between Mickey and Minnie's houses, so that way that I'd have more room in the front for decorating, because it was just all feeling incredibly squished. So, of course, because I have OCD, I spent quite some time trying to figure out the placement here so that I could have a bench on both sides. and it was just not wanting to work out, but eventually I got it. So here you'll see that I'm just putting the pathways around the door, which, spoiler alert, I later decided I hated how it looked, so you'll be seeing that change soon. And here was the realization that if I wanted to get Pluto's house to fit, I wasn't going to be able to have a bench on both sides. And this was a very frustrating time for me because, like I said, I'm OCD, so it was driving me insane. And I kept going back to try to fix it. And then here's where I decided that I actually wanted the pathway to go underneath like all of the entrances of their house because I didn't like those little grass gaps in between them. Does it bother anybody else that you cannot have anything like remotely close to Minnie's house? This was driving me insane because I hated how the gap just looked between the house and the pet house, whereas Pluto's can go right up into Mickey's. But with Figaro's, it was just kind of chilling there in the open. And then I did 3 different lights for this area just because I wanted it to be very colorful like how Toontown is. Toontown was obviously my inspiration for this. The white lights just didn't end up fitting or really fitting the vibe either. So I just went with these cute colorful ones. I was a little indecisive where they were going to be going though because they have to be completely even. My OCD sometimes absolutely drives me insane when trying to decorate because things are not always very even in this game. And then here is where it finally clicked in my brain that I never put the bushes behind the fountain and benches like I had planned to. So I had to move the entire thing just to throw those bushes back there and for things to not fit like how they were before. So here I'm desperately looking for the bushes or trees from the Fairy Tale DLC. I really love all the items that came with that DLC, and I've been incorporating it into a lot of my valley builds lately because I feel like it fits a lot better in the valley than a lot of the Eternal Island items do. And this was realization part 2. I will never have my 2 benches even on either side of the fountain if I want Pluto's house to fit. So I gave up for a little bit and decided to just focus on something else so that I wasn't losing my mind. Here I just decided to move these flowers over because yes, I did make more for this build, but I wasn't sure if those ones were actually going to fit in the next build in the plaza, so I just moved them regardless. Here I'm a bit confused because the archway just didn't want to work on the path, and it wasn't really making any sense because I've previously had them on paths before. Turns out it was the light fixtures, and it just was not clicking in my brain at the time. So here I am just like desperately trying to put these flowers somewhere in this pathway, and it just didn't want to fit without being really out of the way. So I decided to just do some smaller little potted plants because of the dang like measurements of the house not letting you put things right up against it. So here I'm making a cute little chess or checkers area. I actually have this in a few different areas of my valley. I just think it's so cute, like imagining your valley members just going and playing checkers with each other. Here's where I finally decided that I wasn't going to be using those white lights. And I knew that I wanted to make a cute little garden area over to the side, and I was thinking maybe putting that fountain somewhere in the middle, and then just decided that there was no room for it and I had a cuter fountain up already. And here I'm making like a cute little outdoor crafting area. I do this in a lot of my builds because I don't like having to run inside to craft or cook something. So there's quite a few different areas where whatever like my player house, quote unquote, or like, you know, the decorated one is, I'll have this right outside of it. It's in almost every single biome so that I don't have to go inside because I'm a little impatient. I don't want to have to go through 3 different doors to cook one thing. So here I'm just doing like my classic little bushes throughout the valley that I used to use in every single one of my builds, up until I could not get 2 of them to fit in this area. So I changed my mind, and you're about to see how I change all of it instead. Here I'm getting very frustrated with these lights because nothing is wanting to fit with these dang lights here, and I was starting to regret doing the 3-tier lights instead of just the one singular bulb, and I was desperately trying to make cute little entrances with the flowers to my house and to Donald's house, but you'll see that these lights are really getting in the way. I started to throw all these like little fallen flowers down because it's one of my favorite items in the game lately to decorate with. But it was feeling really squished right there, and then I finally had the bright idea that I could turn these lights and it'll save me a lot of space so that I could make these entrances to these little areas just a little bit bigger. And then I couldn't decide if I love or hated how these flowers looked in these entrances, so I put a few more down just so I could get an idea of how it would look. Just for me to decide, it looked really messy and that I was just gonna throw them in my little crafting area instead. And here I realized I could in fact put a flower bed against Daisy's house, unlike Minnie's house. And I really wanted to give them the matching flowers because they're besties, but Minnie's house just does not let you put anything in front of it. So I decided just to throw it back in front of Goofy's house because it fit better there. And I realized to get these lights to fit, I wasn't going to be able to have both of the bushes in that area, and I didn't like how the gap looked, so I decided to just do these large colorful ones instead, which as soon as I put it down, I realized fit so much better in the area than just the plain bushes. And I really love these flowers, also from the Fairy Tale DLC. My only complaint is that they are considered a tree, so you can't walk through them. So at first I was trying to put them in the path before I realized I was just going to be really mad if they were in my way. So I just threw them on the outside. So here I'm just trying to figure out where to put this other flower bed because I knew I at least wanted two, and then realized, oh, it would be so cute in front of my house. And then immediately after realized I have to make it the same on the other side because of my OCD, and me and Donald's houses were already kind of matching. And then here I decide that just one checkers table is not enough. We have, what, 6 different houses over here? What if 4 people want to play checkers? So I decided to throw another one down, but then I was trying to figure out the spacing so that it wouldn't be in the way of Mickey or Minnie's house entrances, like so that I'm not trying to go around a whole bunch of stuff trying to get into their house. And you'll see my OCD take over a whole lot where it has to be the exact way on both sides. But I'm very indecisive, and so I played around with this for a minute. I also recently got these butterflies from the premium shop, and I am obsessed with them. I've been throwing them everywhere in the valley, probably a little too much because I'll throw them down and then realize it's really cluttered. There's a whole lot of butterflies. So I go through and then delete some of them after I've decided that it's too much and it's overwhelming me a little bit. And here, I'm just trying to find my main street entrance that I also got from the premium shop, but nothing is coming up, and I was getting so frustrated, so I was like, alright, I guess I just gotta go through every page here to try to find it. And can you tell I shouldn't be trusted with my own adult money, because look at all these houses I haven't even put down yet. I just be stalking the premium shop a little too much. And finally, I found it, just for it to not fit anywhere. And it's called entry instead of entrance? What? After spending a minute trying desperately to get it to fit, I realized there was a flower on the floor. That is why it's not fitting. So go pick that up, and then immediately it fits. And oops, realized I forgot to put this chest in my crafting area. I also like to have chests in these areas, so if I'm crafting and my inventory's full, I could just throw things in that chest really quick. And I made all these cute wrought iron fences. This is probably my first time actually really using my wrought iron. I love doing the Remy quests, but I never really end up making anything with them. And here I realized I had this cute area that I could decorate with these giant flowers, also from the Fairy Tale DLC. I just love the items in this DLC, and these ones just gave such like Toontown-y vibes to me. Like, did you guys ever play Toontown online and you had to grow your own flowers and stuff like that? Like, that's just what it reminded me of. So here I just started working on my main street path because I was kind of getting a little burnt out on the decorating. I was really hungry, I needed more caffeine, but I was determined to finish this area. And here you'll see my frustration with these dang paths again. I hate when they don't want to go where I want them to go. I wish that you could put them up slopes and stuff like that, because it would just look so much cuter. And here I was really debating what I was going to do, because I love how my main entrance to the Peaceful Valley looks, but realized I was going to have to move these stalls. And if I had to move Kristoff's stall, that means Goofy's stall also had to go, because like I said, I'm OCD. It has to be the same on both sides. And then I tragically ran out of paths. So I had to go and make some more after I decided where I was going to put everything. So here I'm trying to figure out why this flower box fit before and it wouldn't now. So I just gave up for a minute, decided to focus on connecting the paths, and then saw that evil piece of basil just sitting there. I hate when, say, like a follower throws something and it goes into, like, say, that bush area where I couldn't see it before, and now I have to go and pick it up in the middle of my decorating. And as you can see, I was not gonna let this flower box just defeat me like this, so I kept trying to go back and figure out where to place it. Just eat that basil to the side real quick, get it out of the way, and then realize I never made more paths. I have to go and do that really quick. And here I realized I was going to be using all of my sand, so I decided to leave 12 in my inventory and hope that 200 squares is enough. So I was looking for something a little more toontown-y for my house in this area, but realized I don't think that I ever bought the firehouse from Toontown in the premium shop. So I was super disappointed when I realized that, but then realized that I would have to probably redo that entire area if I did have it anyway, because I thought about it so late. So I just gave up and left it as it is and continued on my little paths. And this little side area, I've been wanting to make a cute little Toy Story area for a while. So I cleaned all of this up with the intention of actually making that, but then realized I didn't feel like doing all of that tonight after all. And then as soon as I put this all down here, the core memory just came into my brain of my childhood at Disneyland when you would walk past Sleeping Beauty's castle and have the cute little cart with all of the light up little sticks and the Mickey ears and stuff to your right and all the cute little princess shops to your left. So I was like, it's my childhood Disneyland in my valley. And then I was debating if I wanted my path to be larger on this side too, but decided I wanted to go for a more natural, kind of flowery vibe on this side instead of just street. So it had just occurred to me while I was rewatching these to do the voice recordings that a wrought iron fence on the left side of the pavement would have been so cute to make it a little more like Disneyland, like how they have all their floral beds behind the fences. But I'm just not sure if it would have fit with all of these flowers I put down. So if I do decide to go back and add it, I might have to get rid of some of the flowers then. So I spent a minute trying to get all these flowers to fit and then realized, oh no, it's not pink, white like I usually like. So then I had to go back and fix them all. But if you can't tell, I am just obsessed with these flowers. And me being me, I hate the little like grass gaps between paths. I don't know why I didn't try to bring the path up. I was just obsessed with these flowers and covering any inch of grass I could with them. And then this side was just kind of looking a little empty, so I decided to move some of the flowers on this side too, but realized I have to move everything down now and figure out a way to not completely block this staircase over here. Kristoff's stall is probably the most annoying stall there is. Like, what do you mean I can only pick it up by the front left wheel? But when in doubt, just turn your projects a little sideways and so much more room is created. It's crazy. And then I'm realizing there's that ugly gap between the bushes and the path. And later I'll decide that there needs to be no grass because even seeing the edge along the bushes kind of really bothered me. Here I spent a minute deciding what I'm going to do with Goofy's stall because I just don't really like how it's blocking the staircase, but I kind of ended up giving up and was like, it's just gonna have to block it a little bit if I want everything to fit here. So I just start adding my cute little Main Street benches and flower beds so that it's pretty consistent throughout the park. And then I wanted to add a cute little green bin over there. And I was like, I could have swore that I had them. Spoiler alert, I do. I just forgot to buy some from Scrooge before starting this video. And I decided that I wasn't sure if I liked that color of the ice cream cart. So I went through and looked at my other ones and realized my ice cream cart has been backwards for over an entire year, and I just never realized. And then utterly defeated, I decided just to use the brown ones, even though I feel like they're kind of more of an Adventureland style, but it was already matching with what I had on my Main Street area, so I just rolled with the punches. And then after looking over everything here, I realized I don't think I have the room for the Toy Story vision that I had before, so we're gonna scrap that, focus on it later, but for now this area is complete. So I ended up going back into the game in the middle of editing this video because I was dying to know how these fences would look, and they came out so cute. I love that I didn't have to remove any of the flowers either, and I decided to see how that would look, but I ended up not liking it because I had a lot of grass going on this side and didn't really want to ruin that vibe. But the real debate was putting fences on this side because what if I need to get into those mining spots? But decided I could just delete one little bit of the fence if I need to get back there and throw it back up if anything. And then after making everything so florally, I decided I didn't have enough floral on this backside, so decided to add all these flowers until I realized I did not do the spacing right. I should have started at the other end first, so I went back through and I actually really liked how the flowers looked overlapped instead of just sitting next to each other, so I went for that vibe instead. So, of course the premium shop has me in a chokehold, and when I went in to get those last few recordings, I just had to get this springtime bundle for Goofy's shop and the Wishing Well. I also got that emotional one because it was really cute, and I have some plans on making an inside out area. But now for you to see how everything looks finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this decorating video, and until next time, happy playing, happy decorating, and have a wonderful day. Bye!